Hi everyone! Today we will crochet a square basket and I will tell you how to crochet a square base, how to make good corners for your basket, and how to start crocheting with another color if you want that. I will also give you some little useful tips. To crochet this basket I will use 7 9mm t-shirt yarn, a 7mm hook. I will need 4 stitch markers, a needle with a big eye, and scissors. If you are completely a beginner, I already have a tutorial about crocheting a square base on my channel, so you can use it if it's more clear and detailed for you, but except the last row of the square base. In this tutorial I will tell you how we will make the last row of the square base and what the difference with that video I told you about. So get ready and let's start! So we start crocheting a square basket from making a magic ring. So we have our tip on the right. Our magic ring is ready, and now we make 7 single crochet into this ring. So we insert the hook into the ring, hook the working yarn, take a loop, hook the working yarn and push it through both loops on the hook. And this is our first single crochet. Now make 6 more single crochet the same way. Insert the hook into the ring, hook the working yarn, take a loop, hook the working yarn and push it through both loops on the hook. This is the second single crochet. Three, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Here you can check. One single crochet looks like V. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now pull this tip until you get a circle. And now we need to join this row here to complete our circle. And this will be the first row of our basket base. So to join the row, we make the loop on the hook bigger. Now we insert the hook under the first stitch of the row from the back side, like this. We hook the loop and bring it to the back side. Now we push our circle through this loop, big loop, like this. So this is what we got. And now you pull this working yarn that comes from the bobbin until it's completely tightened. And we've joined our first row of the future square. Now it looks like a little circle. To start crocheting the second row, first find the nearest single crochet before this place where the working yarn comes from. And this is this single crochet. A single crochet from this side looks the same as from here, like V. So this V and this V, it's one single crochet. So this single crochet is located right before our working yarn. So now we will insert the hook into this single crochet. We will insert it right in the middle of it, right here between these two strands of the yarn. Like this. And hook the working yarn, take a loop, hook the working yarn and push it through the loop on the hook. And this stitch is the first stitch of the second row. Now we make 2 more single crochet into the same single crochet from the first row, so into the same place where we already have this first stitch. So we insert the hook into the same single crochet of the first row and make 1 more single crochet. And now again we make a single crochet into the same stitch of the first row. So now we have here 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, into 1 stitch of the first row. And let's place the first stitch marker on the second single crochet, on the second stitch. So here's the first stitch, the second one and the third one, and we place it on the second one. Let's find the next single crochet of the first row. So it's this one, this V, and we will make only 1 single crochet into it. Might be a little hard in this row because the circle is very small and the stitches are very tight. And from the back side, your hook should come out also from the middle of the single crochet between these 2 strands of the yarn. So we make here 1 single crochet, into the next single crochet of the first row. We again make 3 single crochet into 1. So the first one, the first single crochet, the second one into the same stitch, second one, and the third one again into the same stitch. And we place the next stitch marker again on the second single crochet. So here's the first one, the second one, the third one into one, and replace a stitch marker on the second one. Into the next single crochet of the first row, we make only one single crochet. And into the next one, again 3 single crochet into one. One, two, and 3, and the next stitch marker on the second single crochet again. Into the next single crochet, 1 single crochet. And into the next one, 3 single crochet into one. One, two, and 3. And the last stitch marker on the second single crochet. And here we have the last single crochet of the first row, and we make here only 1 single crochet. And we almost finished the second row. Now we need only to join it here, and we will do that the same way as we did in the first row. So we make the loop on the hook bigger, then we insert the hook under the first stitch of the row from the back side. Now we have here our first stitch marker. We can take it off for now. So we insert the hook under this stitch from the back side, hook the loop and bring it to the back side. Now we push our little square into this loop like this. And we pull our working yarn until it's tightened. And we've joined the second row. Let's place a stitch marker back. So here we had 3 single crochet into one, and we place a stitch marker on the second single crochet. So in all future rows, into these stitches where we have stitch markers, we will always make 3 single crochet into one, and into the rest of the stitches we will make only 1 single crochet into one. So this stitches with the stitch markers will be our corners, the corners of the square. So to start the next row, the third one, the same as in the first one, we insert the hook into the nearest single crochet before our working yarn, before this place where it comes from. So it's this one. We insert the hook into it, hook the working yarn, take a loop, hook the working yarn and push it through the loop on the hook. And this is our first stitch of the third row. So now let's find the next single crochet of the previous row. It's this one. It doesn't have a stitch marker, so we make only one single crochet into it. Then the next single crochet in the previous row has a stitch marker. That means that we will make 3 single crochet into one, into this single crochet. So we take off the stitch marker for now and make 3 single crochet into one. 1 into the same place, 2 and into the same place, 3. And now we put a stitch marker back on the second single crochet, always on the second one, and continue. Next stitches, only 1 single crochet into them because they don't have a stitch marker. Into the next one, 1 single crochet, into the next one again, 1 single crochet, and next single crochet has a stitch marker. So this is our next corner, and we make here 3 single crochet into one. 1 into the same place, 2 and 3, and we place a stitch marker on the second single crochet. Again, into the next ones, only 1 single crochet, to the next one, the same, and here also 1 single crochet. And the next one has a stitch marker again. So we make 3 single crochet into one. 1 and 3, and we place stitch marker back on the second single crochet. By the way, I would also like to give you some advice about your stitches. So for example, when you make a single crochet, when you insert your hook and hook the working yarn and take a loop, this one, make this loop the same height with this one, so that your hook would be straight here like this. So it wouldn't be like this or like this. Make it the same height with this one. And then when you hook the working yarn again and push it through both loops on the hook, and you get only one loop on the hook, try to make this loop as small as possible. Do this with all your stitches in your crochet project, and this will help you to get a better shape of this thing you are crocheting. So let's make next stitch. Only one single crochet into the next single crochet from the previous row. Again, only one single crochet. And our last corner, last stitch with the stitch marker, we make 3 single crochet into one. One, two, and 3. We place the stitch marker back on the second single crochet, and the last single crochet of the previous row left. So we make only one single crochet into it. So we almost finished this row. Now we need to join it here the same way as we did it before. I also promised you to show you how to unravel this joining, so now I'm gonna do that. So look, we just tightened this loop, remember, that was big before. So we need to make it big again, just pull it out a little. So now we push the square through this loop the same way as we did it before. And here's our loop that we made big. So this is it. Very simple. So I will join it back. So now let's get rid of this hole that we got. For that, on the back side, we will try to pull this tip a little. And then I will use a needle with a big eye to push our tip under the stitches around the hole from the back side of the square. do this until your hole disappears. And then just cut the rest of the tip. And I also advise you to fix the corners a little by hands by stretching them after crocheting every next row, like this, to make the shape of your square better. So now crochet as many rows in your square as you want, depending on the size of the basket that you want to get in the end. And then in the last row I will show you how we join the last row and how we start crocheting the walls of the basket. Before you start crocheting your last row, come back to this video, because the last row we will crochet a little different. And of course all next rows you crochet the same way as we crocheted these. So you make one single crochet into each single crochet from the previous row, except these stitches where you have stitch markers. Into these stitches you make 3 single crochet into one. So now I'm gonna crochet my last row, and in the last row we will make only 2 single crochet into these stitches where we have the stitch markers. In all rows we made 3 single crochet into one. In the last row we will make only 2 single crochet into one. So let's start. So here's our first corner, our first stitch marker, and we make only 2 single crochet into this stitch. 1 and 2. And we don't need this stitch marker anymore. Now continue as always until you get the next stitch marker, next corner. So here's our next corner, and again we make only 2 single crochet into this stitch where we had a stitch marker. 1, 2, and continue. Next corner, again 2 single crochet into one, it's like one on this side and the second one on this side, and continue. And the last stitch marker, the last corner, again we make 2 single crochet into one single crochet on this side and 1 single crochet on this side, and the last single crochet from the previous row. And we have finished our last row of the square. Let's fix the corners a little by hands, stretching them a little. And now let's join this row, but we will do that in different way than in previous rows, so we could start crocheting the walls after that. So first make the loop on the hook a little bigger, then the same as before, we insert the hook under the first stitch of the row from the back side, hook the loop and bring it to the back side like this. And now we need to insert the hook here in the middle, like between these 2 strands of the yarn of this loop that we just brought to the back side, like this. So here's our loop, goes there. So we like insert the hook in the middle of it, like into this loop, but at this place. Again, here's our loop that we just brought to the back side, and we insert the hook into this loop like this. And also we need to insert the hook in the middle of this single crochet that is right under the hook, under this loop, here in the middle of it. Now hook the working yarn, take a loop, and now push this loop through this one. So we've joined the last row of the square and we made the first stitch of the walls of our future basket. Now it's time to do the wet heat treatment to make our square completely flat. And then come back to this video and we will start crocheting the walls of the basket. So I have done the wet heat treatment. Now my square is just perfect, has perfect shape, completely flat. I fixed a little the corners while it was hot. So now we can start crocheting the walls of the basket. Like I said before, this stitch is the first stitch of the walls, and now I will show you how we will insert the hook in the first row of the walls. So in the whole first row we will insert the hook in the middle of these stitches, these three, like this, and also on this side, as you can see, we have such kind of bumps also all the way around. You see this? So we will insert the hook under this bump too, like this. So let's do the next stitch. So we insert the hook first in the middle of the next this V, this stitch, and under this bump. And then make just a normal single crochet. So hook the working yarn, take a loop, hook the working yarn and push it through both loops on the hook. Then the same into the next stitch, into the next V, under the bump, and hook the working yarn, take a loop, again, in the corners it will be different, so don't rush. So we came to our first corner. As you remember, in the last row of the square we made 2 single crochet into one in each corner of the square. So now we came to the first stitch, these two, and that's how we will crochet the corners in the walls of the basket. So first we insert the hook the same way as we did before, in the middle of this V and under the bump. We hook the working yarn and take a loop. Now we insert the same way, insert the hook the same way into the next stitch and next bump. Again, hook the working yarn and take a loop. So now we have 3 loops on the hook. Now take off the last loop from the hook, like this, Hook the working yarn and push it through both loops on the hook. Now insert the hook into this loop. Hook the working yarn and push it through both loops on the hook. And we've crocheted the first corner of the walls. Then continue crocheting the walls the same way. Until you get the next corner. So now we came to the next corner. Here's our 2 single crochet into 1. So we will do the same way as with the first corner. So first we insert the hook as always. Hook the working yarn, take a loop. Now insert the hook into the next stitch and next bump. Hook the working yarn and take a loop. Now we have 3 loops on the hook. We take off this loop from the hook. Then hook the working yarn and push it through both loops on the hook. Now we insert the hook into this loop and again insert the working yarn, hook the working yarn and push it through both loops on the hook. And then continue crocheting the same way, like in a normal way, just 1 single crochet into each stitch with a bump until you get the next corner. And we came to the next corner. So the next stitch, it's one of these 2 single crochet into 1 that we made in our square, in the corner of the square. So we repeat the same what we did in these corners. We insert the hook into next V under the bow, hook the working yarn, take a loop, then again insert the hook into the next V, next bump, hook the working yarn and take a loop. Then we take off the last loop from the hook, hook the working yarn and push it through both loops on the hook. Then we insert the hook into this loop, hook the working yarn and push it through both loops on the hook. And continue. And the last corner, last 2 stitches into 1, and first loop into the next one, second loop, this loop we take off with the working yarn, push it through both loops on the hook, insert the hook into the last loop, then hook the working yarn and push it through both loops on the hook. Then we make last single crochet in this row, and we came to the beginning of this row. And now we will join it here the same way as we did it in the square, while we were crocheting the square. So we've joined the first row of the walls of the basket. After every row of the walls, I also advise you to fix the corners a little by hands. To make a good shape. So why in the last row of the square I made 2 single crochet into 1 in the corners instead of 3 single crochet into 1 as we did it in all previous rows, and why we did these things in the corners of the walls of the basket. You can also crochet the square the same way as I showed it in my video about how to crochet a square, and then you can crochet the walls of the basket the same way as we did it in the round basket. But if you will do that this way I'm showing you here now, this will make your corners much more clear. So just choose any way you want, any way you like, and crochet your square basket. So let's start crocheting the second row of the walls of the basket. And we start the next row the same way as we did it when we crocheted a square. First stitch, and then we insert the hook in the middle of each single crochet from the previous row and just make a normal single crochet. The same way as we crochet the square base in the middle of the next single crochet from the back side. It also comes from the middle of the single crochet. And we came to the first corner, and we will crochet it the same way as we did it in the first row of the walls. So first we insert the hook into the next stitch, into the next single crochet, hook the working yarn and take a loop. Then we insert the hook into the next stitch, hook the working yarn and take a loop. Then we take off the last loop from the hook, hook the working yarn and push it through both loops on the hook. Then we insert the hook into this loop, hook the working yarn and push it through both loops on the hook. And then continue just in a normal way, making one single crochet into each single crochet from the previous row until you get the next corner. So we came to the next corner and we do the same as we did with the first corner, then into the next stitch, take the working yarn, take a loop, now 3 loops on the hook, take off the last loop from the hook, hook the working yarn and push it through both loops on the hook. Then insert the hook into this loop, hook the working yarn and push it through both loops on the hook. You see how clear is this corner? And continue. And we came to the next corner. I will show you one more time. And continue. So I finished this row, made the last corner and came to the beginning of this row, and now I will join it the same way as before. Now crochet as many rows in the walls of your basket as you want, the same way, depending on the height of the basket that you want to get in the end. But in this video I also want to show you how you can start using another color of the t-shirt yarn and make, for example, another color line in the walls of your basket. So I will make maybe 1 or 2 more rows with this color, and then I will show you how to start crocheting with another color. And also in the last row of the basket, of the walls of the basket, I will show you how we join it and how to make a border around the basket. So I've crocheted 1 more row in my walls and join this row as always. And now I want to start crocheting with another color. So what we're gonna do? Now leave a little tip here and cut the yarn. So the next row of the walls I will crochet with another color. For that we first insert the hook the same way as before, as we always did it when we started a new row. So into the nearest single crochet before the working yarn. But now we already hook new color t-shirt yarn and take a loop. Then I put this tip of the first color yarn over it, over the new yarn like this. Now our working yarn is this one. It's a new color, and this strand that comes from the bobbin. So we hook the working yarn and push it through the loop on the hook. And we've made the first stitch of the new row. And now you continue crocheting the same way as you did it before with the first color. And the first corner, also the same as before. And continue to the end of the row. If you're joining, move to the corner, the same as mine. Here I have 2 single crochet into 1, so this is my corner, and in this row my joining will be here, right in the corner. Just make 1 single crochet into each single crochet from the previous row, and from the next row your joining will move to the right again, and you can start making your corners the same as I showed it to you before. So I made my last single crochet in this row, and now I will join it the same way as always. Just don't make this stitch, joining stitch, too tight, so that we saved the shape of our corner. So this stitch, I mean, don't make it too tight. So your next row, you will start from this single crochet, and that means that your joining moved to the right again. It will be here in this new row, so you can make your corners the same as before. So this is the last stitch before the corner, and now I make the corner. And here are these little tips. We can just hide under the stitches from inside of the basket. Just push it with the needle with the big eye. then cut the rest of the yarn. And the same with this one. So now crochet as many rows as you want in your square basket. You can also use one more color or even two more colors. You can come back to the first color again here if you want. And when you finish your last row, I will show you how we will join the last row and how we will make a border around the basket. So I've crocheted my last row. You see, I took the first color again. And now we will join it and start crocheting the border right away. So we insert the hook under the first stitch of the row, like this. Hook the working yarn, take a loop, and then push this loop through this one. Then insert the hook under the next stitch. Hook the working yarn, take a loop, and then push this loop through this one. Under the next one. And continue doing that all the way around the basket until you get the first stitch here. So I've made my last stitch of the border. This one was the first one, and the last one is this one. Now we need to join the border here and to finish our crochet. For that, leave a little tip and cut the yarn. Pull out the tip, and now I will use a needle with a big eye. So first we need to insert the needle under the first stitch of the border. This one. Now we bring it back to the same place where our tip comes from now. So here's the tip. It comes from this stitch. So we bring it back to this stitch and also in the middle of the last stitch of the walls of the basket. So we've joined the border, and now we need to finish our crochet here to make it look the same as everywhere. So first we find the first stitch of the last row of the walls, it's this one, and insert our needle under this stitch. And then again we bring the needle back to the same place where our tip comes from, so here. So now this place looks completely the same as everywhere else. Now let's hide the rest of the tip under the stitches from the back side of the basket, from inside of the basket. And a square basket is ready. And also I advise you to do the wet heat treatment for the walls of the basket too. So in my square base I made 8 rows, and the size of the square is around 18.5 centimeters. In the walls of the basket I also made 8 rows, and its height is around 10 centimeters, or maybe 9.5. And to crochet this basket I used almost the whole bobbin of the t-shirt yarn of the one color and a little of another color. I hope you liked the tutorial. If you have any questions, write them in comments and I will try to help you. Please leave your thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and click on the bell not to miss my next tutorials. Thank you for watching and see you soon!